I'm here when I'm ready.
Good morning, everyone. For all those who are joining us today, my name is Philip Agbese, as usual, from Kavik Hub. I want to appreciate your attendance and your participation so far with this webinar, graciously sponsored by AfriLabs, alongside some of their development partners who have been gracious to make this available to all of us. Today we'll be joined, or we are joined by Gideon Brefo. Gideon is CEO of Hyperspace, an innovation hub in Ghana, but he's also the project coordinator for the African EU, a project being run between the European Union and I think the African Union as well, alongside others. So he will be speaking to us soon. Please, if you are in the meet, could you indicate if you can hear us clearly in the chat box, as always, just by sending a chat that, yes, you can hear us and all that. Nice to see Chantal. Nice to see Nana Kapinga. Nana, I think you are new. God's gift, AJG, thank you for joining. Knowledge, great to have you here. And a couple of others as well. Who else is new here? Oh, Harriet's made it today. Hi, Harriet. Happy to see you in the chat. We've missed you for a couple of days and would like to send our condolences about the passing of your sister-in-law as well. Please accept our condolences, and great to have you here. Okay, I think we have quite a number of people here, and we should deep dive. Sean, are you ready to run with this?
All right, good morning.
Morning. You have the floor.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for this web series. It's been an amazing time, if you will all agree with me. Today, we'll be going into how to ensure that your business runs smoothly, taking into cognizance your micro and micro environments, and based on how your product is being designed and how you run your operation. We have no other person to do this than our great speaker for today, Mr. Gideon Brefo. He has vast experience in running and managing startups, business operations, and he would be the one sharing deep insights with us today. Let's welcome Mr. Gideon as he takes the floor. Welcome, Mr. Gideon.
Hello. Thank you, Sean, for the introduction, and to all the Kavik team for the opportunity to be with you all. Glad to be here with you all those online. From the introduction of Philip, I noticed that there are some of you that are new. But just before we continue, I just want each of you that has participated in a previous webinar to share just a phrase of what you recall or picked or your takeaway from any of the webinars that you've attended so far. Can you just share? Okay.
We can all respond using the chat box, please.
Just anything you have picked from the previous webinars. One keyword, a phrase, one lesson. Anyone? I'm just waiting for the first person and I proceed. Okay, somebody said, I've learned that always check any contracts before you sign, of course. That's a very good one. That can ruin you if you sign a wrong contract. When monies are not coming in yet, you might feel you're okay until money is dropped into your account and you realize that you signed the wrong deal. So thank you for sharing. And Harriet also says to keep personal expenses separate from business accounts. Marvelous one. Other than that, you run it like the market woman or market man that is not pursuing any innovative business. And the last one I'm reading, Chantel, excited and happy to be able to be part of this program. You're most welcome, Chantel. So let me share my screen. Let me know from the chat if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, let me see. Okay, I hear yes. Glad to be here with all of you. So today we are looking at design thinking, and specifically I'm going to focus on how we can refine our problem statement, those that we work with the design thinking mindset. And we come up with a couple of actions that we will proceed with. I think I was already introduced. I run an innovation hub in Ghana, specifically Kumasi, that's the second capital. And I support startups. I'm a trainer, as I'm going to do with you today. And I have the goal of the session also outlined here to help each of you to adopt the design thinking methodology and whatever you do. Now, just a quick one. How many of you have used design thinking before? What you do? How many? You can just mention it in the chat if you. Okay, I have 2 people already raised their hands. And I'm glad to have people here who have used it already. So that means that they are going to be my assistants in all the activities that we do. But I have this activity for all of you. I'm posting it in the chat. We are using Mentimeter. Oh, okay. Somebody attended Yali and used that. So I've shared a link in the chat. Please go to the Mentimeter and then tell us when you hear about when you hear about design thinking, what comes to your mind? You can tell us up to 3 keywords that comes to mind. Let's see what people have to say. We'll be seeing what you type, but not with your name. What comes to mind?
Chantal says brand awareness, and Harriet says
it would be good.
creativity.
It would be good for them to go to the link and type it in there. We are creating a word cloud.
Great.
As they can see on the screen. So everybody just go to the Mentimeter, the link I shared, and type in the words that come to mind. Oh, somebody says I can't see the link. Philip, are you able to see the link? Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm not posting to everybody. Sorry. It's my making. Now I've shared it to everybody. Now I've shared it to everybody. So please click on the link and share from there. It's so unfortunate Philip gave us only 1 hour, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I see creativity, leaning, brainstorming, innovation. Good, love the words coming up. Creative thinking, brand awareness. Wow, wonderful. Okay, we have products, customers' needs. I love that one. We'll be talking a lot more about that very soon. Okay, right. Thank you so much. Empathy. So yes, these are all things that relate to design thinking, and I'm happy that most of you are aware of this. Now, when we talk about design thinking, right, it is not a specialized field. It's not a specialized field. Now, the way people talk about design thinking, it makes it feel like it is an advanced field of learning. Maybe that should be left to the professors and designers and so forth, but no, it is not a specialized field. It's just about tapping into the mindset that designers of long ago and today have used in their designing processes. And now we're saying that we can transfer that knowledge to everything else that we do. So basically it's the borrowing of the thinking process of a designer, okay? And applying that for those of us who are here in our context who are developing new ideas or coming up with new innovations that will solve problems. So that's basically what design thinking is. And there are a number of ways that this can be adapted or learned. And we are going to talk more about that just in a moment. So there are some keywords. I think most of them appeared in what people shared, but let me project my screen and also run through one or two more of them that I would like you to take away. It is more about imagining, right? You imagine things. A lot of you also spoke about being creative. That's very good. And brainstorming was also mentioned, but the last one is so important. Iterative. So you need to iterate on your business idea, on even the particular problem that you are solving, over and over to get it right. Right? So business development that is able to transcend all challenges, or is able to actually meet customer needs, are very iterative. And so we see them evolving over the years. Let me give you one key example, something that I think globally we all love to drink, and some become addicted to: Coca-Cola. Right? I remember that about 35 to 40 years ago, when I was a kid, it was very sugary, right? And at some point, they kind of reduced the sugar content a bit. At a point where a lot of people were talking about, or became so concerned about having sugar-related diseases, they came up with Coke Zero. Okay, and so they are very iterative, even though it is very addictive, and because of the sugar levels, most people are advised to stay away from it. They still wanted to keep themselves in the game, and so they responded to the need of their customers or their users, and they came up with the Coke Zero, which makes it easier for those who are even conscious of their health to also get to still drink Coca-Cola, right? So that's very important. Most of the time, when we are thinking about solving a particular problem that we find in our locality, we just want to come up with a very good idea. That one best idea that can overtake the world, that can shape the world, that can push everything off the market, and then we take the lead. But I like this phrase or saying by Linus Pauling. He said that to get a good idea, you need a lot of ideas. To get a good idea, you need a lot of ideas. What impression do you get from this? I want to hear from you. You can use the chat to let me know. If you think deep about this one, to get a good idea, we need a lot of ideas. What impressions do this create on you? Anyone? What do you glean, or what do you get from this quote? Okay. So it says, get more ideas. Kakel, thank you. Get more ideas. You can scrutinize them and get conclusions. Learn from experience. It means a lot of brainstorming. Success don't happen on the first idea. True. Do more research. Great. And then it is a lot of brainstorming, networking. Thank you all for, okay, somebody says try out. So you try, right? And even though you might even come up with something that people accept at the beginning, if you don't continue to evolve with the product or service, people might grow out of it because of the changing circumstances. Okay. And so, yeah, I like what somebody's saying, ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions. So, design thinking process is really about brainstorming over possible solutions and coming up with one conclusion at the end, prototyping it, and going through the iterative process again. So I advise, and this one is not scripted, it's from me, that this is usually done in teams, right? So if you have a team that you work with when you are going through this design thinking process, it's good that you do it with others. All right. And later, we're going to discuss brainstorming tips, the do's and don'ts. There are times that people do this brainstorming with their team, but they kill that desire for others to come up with what's on their mind. And we're going to see how we kill that and what we can do to avoid that very soon. So yes, continue to brainstorm, and then you get most things coming up, yeah, for you in terms of meeting customer needs. There's also one key thing about design thinking, and we see it from the design thinking process on the screen. Okay. If you look at the design thinking process, which one comes first and which one is last? You can share in the chat. Which one comes first? Okay, let me see. Okay, somebody says define, another says define. This says understand the people, ideate, emphasize, define comes first, empathize comes first. Okay, interesting. So, which is which? Which is which? You know, look at the arrows. That can give you an idea. If you look at the idea, the arrows critically, which one will be the starting point? You may realize, looking at it critically, that, okay, I already have something in, okay, Harris is your idea, and Tammy says define. Okay. So now, if you look at this, you realize that it's a continuum, right? And then it keeps going back. So really, we cannot say with certainty that the design thinking process must definitely start at empathize or define or test or ideate or prototype. Okay, because at any given level of your business development, you can use the design thinking process. Okay, so there might be some here who have already started their business and it's running. Okay, but that's not the end. So let me give you an example. You know, when the COVID-19 pandemic struck, many businesses collapsed, right? Which were the businesses that were able to transition from pre-COVID to post-COVID? You can tell me in the chat which businesses survived. What's one key characteristic of the businesses that survived? Okay, yes, Facebook survived. Online businesses survived. So what was the characteristic? What quality of the business operation helped them to survive. Those that were able to adapt, those that were able to think critically and come up with new ways of doing things. And somebody says businesses that were well structured, right? Okay. So at any given point, when one feels that there's the need to restructure your business model, there's the need to review your business model, there's the need to improve your existing services or products, you come back to the design thinking process. And so you realize that based on the circumstances, based on the level of that business, you may have to start from a different session of the design thinking process. Okay, so we will not start from one particular point. So I can agree why most people feel that it starts from defining your business idea. Okay, but even with regards to that, okay, I would say that it should start rather, if you've not done anything at all, it should rather start from defining the problem that you want to solve. All right. But in terms of designing or defining the problem that you want to solve, okay, how can you do that effectively? How can you do that effectively? If you want to define a process, or let me say, how did you define those who are already running businesses? How did you define the problem you are solving right now? Okay, Chantel say, understand people and their needs. Learn from mistakes from Harriet. Understanding what people want also from Alice. Okay. So you realize that the design thinking process stipulates that everything you want to do should be human-centric, right? I see that Alero says the pain of the customer. So you should know the pain points of your users or customers. Okay. If it is not a pain point, it is not something that customers or users feel they need, right? You can come up with something that looks very nice. People will appreciate it, but trust me, they might find it difficult to pay for it. And so there are people that see that, oh, I get everybody saying that I have a very good product or I have a very good service, but nobody is buying. Yeah, because, you know, not many people have access to buy wants or to buy things that will not serve an immediate need. And so they appreciate it. They feel it is nice. Okay, one day when they have a lot of money or when they have excesses, they want to buy it. But now, on the scale of preference, matching the scarcity of their financial stance, no, that can't wait. And so you do not want to go ahead and build businesses around things that your target market feel that they can wait to some point in the future when they are ready. No, you want to build a business that responds to their immediate needs, their very pinpoint. Okay, so that one, can you sit in your room or in your office or somewhere all by yourself and define the problem for your customers? I want responses to this from the chat. Can you do that? From the comfort of your office or from your home? Okay, somebody says yes. What do you also say? Can you do that from the comfort of your home? Okay. Becky says no. And then I see a lot of yes from Knowledge, from Harriet. Okay, no. Kakel, I hope I'm getting the name right. Philip, is it possible to allow Kakel to speak?
Yes, I believe so. I can unmute.
Okay, please allow the person to explain why he or she says no, because I'm interested in that one. Okay, you have the mic now.
Yeah. Hello, I hope you hear me.
Yes,
Hi.
I can hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So on my side, thanks for the word. I think that you cannot do it from the comfort of your own home because you need to really get in touch and interview your potential let's say targets in order really to understand better what they are feeling like. So you have to go on field. You need to experience, and you cannot just because when you stay from your comfort zone, you will just see things on your own way as per your own understanding. But once you get on the field, then you are able to understand better what people are feeling, what people are reacting. So it's better to really favor a lot of interactions in order to get what you want to define as the problem you want to solve. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing those thoughts. Philip, I just want one more person that said yes. Hell is the only person that says no.
Who do you want?
I think Harriet or Knowledge Zaninya, Chantel, any of them that will. So you can raise up your hand if you want to also speak to why you said yes. We can sit at our comfort, and then Philip can bring you on, and you share. Thanks for sharing, Kakel. Okay, 2 people raised their hands. So, Philip, you can decide and bring one on board there.
Hi.
Okay, Harriet, you are. Yeah, go on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I think with today's technology, if you can do, get in contact with your client via Zoom without having to leave your home, especially if you think of the price of fuel and the expenses, of traveling and wasting time. If you can sort of just set up a meeting that is sort of convenient for both of you, I think you can solve problems much better and save time as well. Thank you.
Right, thank you. That's an interesting one with the response. I don't know if Kakel, you are seeing what I'm hearing. I don't know what you felt when you saw others saying yes, you can sit at the comfort of your home and define problems to solve. Okay, so this is the most reason why you need to get in touch with people, right? To actually feel what they feel. All right, because and at the end, I hope that we can all see that Kakel and Harriet were thinking same, even though their answers seem different. I don't know if you realize that. Did you all see that? Because Kakel was like, you need to go out there and actually ask questions. But Harriet is saying that, why go out there when you can get people on Zoom and also speak with them? So the underlying factor is that you need to get in touch with people, whether electronically or face-to-face. You still have to speak with people to understand how they really feel about the issue. Otherwise, you get it wrong. So sometimes it is also good not to just limit things to the yes and no answer. Because, for instance, if I were analyzing the data with only the yes and no responses I got, do you imagine that I would have gotten my analysis wrong? Harry, do you see that? Oh, Kakel, do you see that? You can unmute and then share.
Hi,
Yes,
can you
indeed.
hear me?
Okay, Harry, go on. Then
Yes,
Kakel
so
can come in.
uh,
Okay, Kakel, go.
okay, so I was just saying, yeah, indeed, I think, yeah, it's right what you are saying, and but at the end, as you said, it's always better just to get in touch with people because, yes, I agree with the fact that you can always also do some pre-assessment online. You can be able to do that, but you know, even though today with let's talk about like what we talk about impact investments, you will notice that even though we get in touch with investors online and all, but at the end of the time, they always prefer to rely on like due diligence cabinets who are in place or who are physically present or themselves, they organize a travel to come to visit us physically. So I think at the end of the time, because sometimes what you may have online cannot always be the reality. Some people can fake many things online, and reason why I agree that it is good, maybe as a starting point to work online. But then I agree with what just Gideon said, that at the end of the time, I think getting also in touch and in contact with people physically is really, really important. So I can just link both and say that both are important because online also work helps us ease some task and gain time also. Thank you.
Yeah, most welcome. Harriet, you wanted to share something too?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, can.
Okay, so I think we both have something in common. It is important, obviously, to understand your customer and to take their needs, into consideration. So whether you do it in person or online, as long as you get to a point where you both agree that you can resolve whatever issues you have. Thank you.
Very good, very good. So that's the summary, and I think that the other participants also agree. Somebody is saying that it depends on the individual, and somebody saying that there are others that prefer face. They are more open when you speak with them face to face than when they speak online. So you need to understand the environment in which you're operating and your target market, and how best you can get the information you need for analysis from them, and then choose what you are. A hybrid session is also good, and you can always do that also, which is very good. But in all, we're saying that when you are using the design thinking process, it should be very iterative, right? And so you just don't go one round and you feel that you're okay. Okay, so for instance, we can start with defining the problem and designing a solution for it, prototyping it, testing it, all right? But then we still have to ask ourselves questions. what we have done with what we heard from the beginning, is it really what the customers expected? So you start the process again. Go back to those same people. We had a word with you, and this is what we felt you needed. Is it really what you needed? And then they can give a feedback. Sometimes the customer will say, oh, no, it looks like you didn't understand me well. Oh, well, initially I felt this is what I needed, but now that I'm holding it physically, it doesn't really feel like what I wanted. You understand? So always seek feedback and proceed to respond to those feedbacks to make your product better. And even for those that have done the same business for a long time, right? In order that no new innovation will come and throw you off the market, you need to continually go back to your customers, even your very loyal customers, and ask them if their preferences are changing, if they envision that something else could be done to make it better. What challenges are they facing with this particular product, right? Sometimes when customers feel that there are no alternatives, okay, they just stick to what they have. That as soon as there is another alternative, they will be gone. All right. So always find out what challenges these ones are facing, and then try to see if you can innovate around it to improve the existing product that you have. Now, when you are defining a problem, okay, the problem statement should be generative rather than restrictive. Okay. To explain that better, I want us to do it this way. Each of you can write in the chat what problem your business is solving, or what problem would the business you want to design right now or develop right now solve in the future. Okay, just share in the chat, and then I can use that to explain what I mean by your problem statement being generative and rather than being restrictive. Okay, so improve agriculture productivity with small mechanization. Okay, thank you, Kakel, for sharing. Dry skin conditions. Okay. All right. So let me take that of Kakel. Improve agriculture productivity with small mechanization. So Kakel, now if I think about this problem, what kind of small mechanization are you talking about? And the other question could be, okay, go on, Kakel.
Yes, by small mechanization, I mean use of the small equipment which can really automatize mechanization instead of the industrial means we have like tractors, because for the moment, tractors are too costly for most of the small farmers. And now we would like to really develop a type of small equipment which can respond to the mechanization needs.
Okay, but the other question would be, could they achieve the same results with something else other than small mechanization? It's a question for you, food for thought, right? I see Chantel says dry skin conditions. Right. So, what about dry skin conditions would you want to solve? So when we are defining a problem statement, it should be complete and it should have a direction. Okay. And then Harris says, I offer venue hire with catering, decorations, setup. Yeah. So Harry, this is your offering, but what particular problem are you solving? What problem necessitated you're coming up with this business model? And I see creating ready to wear. Right. So ready to wear in which form, and targeting which group of people? Women, men, children, students, working class people. What people are you targeting? And then help people to stay online with minimal data spending. My quick question could be, could people also be helped to stay online with something other than data? Then there's this one from John. It says currently less than 10% of Nigerians have access to health insurance. We are solving this by providing accessible and affordable health insurance solutions to Nigerians by targeting SMEs. Okay, that's cool. And Alero, helping rural women artisans access market with by vocational and entrepreneurship training, as well as digitizing the process. Okay, so now let me do this. Let me go back to my slides and show you something. Okay, when we are defining our problem statement, how do you see this? How can we develop an app to help students learn better? There is a problem with this statement. Can you let us know what problem you find with this statement? You can share in the chat. What problem do you find with this? What problem do you find with this? Okay, all right, I have one. I say it talks about the solution more than the problem. Right, okay. Chantel says learning. Okay, good. Thank you for your responses. The use of we rather than I. Okay, that's an interesting one. Lazarus. So now let me tell you the problem I also find with this one. It's too generic. Okay. John, rather than generic, I see that it's overly specific. And do you see the specificity? It says that how can we develop an app to help students learn better? Now, this is the trick. The problem you are identifying is that probably students are not devoting much time to learning. There can be several possibilities. But the moment you say that, how can we develop an app to help students? You're already restricting the possible solutions that you can develop to solve the problem. I don't know if that's clear to everyone. Okay, so when you are using the design thinking methodology, and especially at the stage of brainstorming, and you are defining your problem, do not make it restrictive, but open it up so that you can generate as many possibilities as possible. And so you need to be ready to accept ambiguity when you are brainstorming in the design thinking process. Some thoughts might even be ambiguous. They're not clear, of course. You've not already come up with a particular solution. So many things are very vague or hazy at the beginning, but it clears up when you ask more questions. And so don't be restrictive when defining your problem statement. Open it up so that it can be a cause to come up with many possible solutions that can help you to later be able to go through all the possibilities and decide on one when you are doing that in a group. And so that's very important for the design thinking process. Now, let me use about the next 5 minutes to talk a bit more about the various sessions of the design thinking process so that those who are interfacing this for the first time can understand what each of them means. So when we are talking about empathize, it means that you need to understand people, right? That's what we did with the problem definition. And we agreed that at all costs, you need to come into contact with the problem, right? To experience the pain. And then you can be able to provide solutions. So talk to the people, be with them, and then you can understand them before you provide solution. Otherwise, you provide solutions when you don't understand the problem. And so your solution will not be effective. All right. And so as you are able to empathize, you define. So by defining your problem, you can come up with a statement that guides whatever solution you are going to develop, like we said. And that's what I said, that even at that point, don't be restrictive, but be generative. Make it a bit open so that the team can brainstorm on possibilities before you begin to narrow down. And it should be human-centric, because now you are doing everything from that empathetic position at a point where you really understand what the problem is, and you're providing solutions. So as you brainstorm your ideas, right, you come up with many ideas. At that point, please don't be restrictive. And especially when you are in a group, I said that we're going to come up with tidbits and brainstorming. Always defer your judgment, especially when you are the lead and you are so critical and judgmental about everything that people say. They'll keep quiet. But rather than being judgmental, ask critical questions that help all of you to reevaluate what has been said. Probably that might even be the answer. Okay, so if you go into brainstorming session with a pre-generated idea, then it's better you don't go to the brainstorming session, but be as open-minded as possible and try to link up what you have in mind with what the others are saying, and that helps. Then before you go into mass production, you definitely have to prototype. So that's where you build a miniature of that solution that you feel now can be able to solve that pain of your users. And then you can test it by going back to these people, asking them. Sometimes their feedback can even be surprising or even annoying sometimes, because you wonder, is this not the same person that I had a conversation with? Because now their response to the solution that you feel really, really solves the problem that they discuss with you, they look at it in a way that like, why are you bringing this to me? Okay, so yes, don't be surprised. Expect shocks, right? In the responses that you get from the same people that you might have interviewed earlier. But all those are going to help you to iterate and get things better. And when we do that, it will help make our business better. So at this point, I will allow for questions. If any of you has question on what has been discussed so far in terms of using the design thinking methodology to improve on our business. You can either type it in the chat or raise your hands up, and then Sean or Philip will allow you to speak.
Thank you so much, Gideon. Brilliant teaching. We're really loving this, learning so much. So I think the floor is open for people to type in their questions, what they would like to do or know about design thinking, particularly as it relates to their own various fields, maybe narrowing it down somewhat, or if they're having challenges with their designs as relates to its acceptance and all. Now would be a good time to ask your questions. I guess
think there's a hand up.
Okay.
Techno.
All right. Okay.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, can you hear me now? All right, thank you very much for the
Yes, we can hear
opportunity to
you.
speak. Okay, so my question is, how do you implement this to those of us in the fashion industry where we are only able to cater for specialized events, weddings, celebrations like that? How does it work for us?
Okay. Okay, that's a good one. Your name, please.
My name is Timothy.
Okay, all right. So Timothy, the design thinking methodology is an open, adaptable mindset. So, for instance, you said you are into design and sewing, right? And so, for instance, yes, you know our African wear, okay? At a point, people started to do the male dress, right? That had no button in front. Okay, it had no button in front. I remember at the beginning, I used to struggle because you only had a hole at the top, and then you had to pull it to be able to wear it. That was a big problem because with the button in front, you can just open it up, put it on, and then you button up. But then later people realized that, oh, they can put some buttons here with a cut that kind of opens up the whole top for easy wearing, or they put a zip there and so forth. Okay, so that is somebody empathizing with a problem that users of such designs were facing. And so probably now you get people innovating around that, okay? Because they are either prototyping some and testing it with people, or just observing the problems that people are going through and then ideating around that to come with new styles. So if you look at the fashion industry, things have evolved, all right? And you can only come up with innovative styles of dresses when you adapt this kind of thinking and mindset. I don't know if that answers your question, Tim. Okay, all right, Tim says yes. Then Alero has something here. He says, for my idea of helping rural women access markets, is it the users of the products or the women's needs that is my focus? I know the products will be for those who are concerned about my people earning fair wages or making change in another slide. What are the things I should focus on? Okay. So okay, let's look at it this way. Now you realize that people get it wrong with the definition of customers, right? We know that is the customer. We know that is the customer is the one paying. All right, the customer is the one paying, and so you need to be able to please the one paying. So if your idea of helping rural women to access markets, the one going to fund it is, say, an international partner, then you need to understand what the donors see as a pain point for the women. All right. So your understanding of the pain point of these women will not only rest with what the women feel, but it's also about what the donor presumed to be the pain point of these women. So you marry the two. First of all, as you are writing the proposal or you are engaging the donors, you should have engaged the women already and be able to speak in behalf of the women to these donors to understand that that's a big problem for the women, which needs the solution that you are providing. And that could be the best way of going about this. Chantel, can we work through my current problem statement? Okay. Chantel, which is your problem statement? Let me see, going up. If you can repost your problem statement, or maybe Philip or Sean, if you can add Chantel, then she can speak through what problem. Yes, they will allow you to speak soon. Before we bring Chantel on, Harriet says, Alero, do you have a website? I would like to access it. You should also advertise it. Okay, very good. Okay, so Harriet is here to also support Alero, so you can connect up with them.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Afternoon, everybody. So I just would like to, I've got my problem statement and I just want to see if we can tweak it or maybe if there's something that I'm not getting 100% correct. But
okay,
for the problem that I've indicated is firstly dry, sensitive skin and then chemical laden products. So I defined by making those statements stand out. And then the reasoning on that I'm saying is conventional creams and lotions contain many synthetic ingredients like toxins, artificial flavoring, and petroleum-based derivatives. And this can also lead to allergic reactions, skin irritations, and long-term health concerns. The majority of products within the industry players actually worsen your dry skin conditions. That's not fixing the issue of your dry skin and boosting their sales. Not many clients actually understand what are listed within the product's ingredients and only go on what the trend or the label, for instance, indicates, for instance, argan oil, but they don't put the percentages there of, they just put the slap on argan oil because it's a sale booster. So for me, if I look at the design thinking, I've emphasized, because I have dry sensitive skin, allergic skin, eczema skin. So I understand the customer and I've connected with people that I talk to, then they also sympathize and empathize because they're going through the same issue. Defining it is doing a lot of research where I've looked at what the conditions are for people with dry skin. Testing, obviously, products, we're busy testing products to see what works and what doesn't work. And then also just continuously taking ideas of how to formulate different things and experimenting. So that is if I go through the design process. So I just would like your feedback or anybody else's feedback if I could tweak or need to amend anything of that. Thank you.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. That's an interesting one. And I think it's a real pain point because my sister also has a skin problem. So it's very particular about the creams that she uses. So now, you gave a background to the solution that you want to offer, but in very clear single statement, what would you say is the problem you are solving?
Well, if I'm listening to myself as I'm speaking now, I'm thinking the real problem is education. The problem of people not being educated enough with regards to the products that they are being using on their skin to know what works and what doesn't work, besides having the dry skin.
Good. So that's a very good statement. That and the literature can tell you probably how many people lack that education on what works or does not work for their skin. And so that is a good problem statement. And now going through the design thinking process, it will help you to now generate a lot of possible ideas on how this education can be done. Okay, so probably one of the things I can take on top of my head will be maybe having some kind of online forums such as we have right now and invite people. Another thing would be to have an online MOC, a free portal that people can go there and then search for possible topics and read about them, because you are bringing all the literature relating to that at one point. Or maybe saying that you are developing an AI app that people can actually interact with. So they speak with the AI and the AI provides some kind of solutions. So those are all possibilities that from what I heard from you now, I think the problem statement as you made the last time is a very good problem statement.
John, let's hear you. You have your hand raised.
All right. Thanks for that, Gideon. Chantel, so there's something I also want you to think through, right? Beyond on identifying a problem statement that goes through the design thinking, you also need to find out what is your end goal, like what is your end product. So for instance, from your problem statements, as Gideon has identified, your product will now be some sort of a learning platform or a learning forum or a learning community. But I don't know if that's actually the product you intend to bring out. But for the particular problem statement you've stated, there are two approaches that I think would help you quickly scale. One would be for you to set up a non-for-profit that is very strong on policy formulation, that you can now work with other non-for-profits to push for a policy that ensures that every health care product or producer ensures that they fully detail the combination of the product elements. So what are the things, the composition of the product that is fully and it's clearly stated what's the composition of this formula or chemical that is in this product. That's one. The second is for you to also, using this same NGO platform, non-for-profit platform, now begin to drive orientation and advocacy across different states or across different community. So that would be how I think you would do that. The second thing I'm thinking is you could create a platform where you have a team of volunteers that go about doing product review, right? So the platform can solve two things. One, it would help anyone that has this dry skin to have a one-stop shop of where they can actually go and access or verify the quality and authenticity of a particular product that they're supposed to use, and then also use that as some sort of a verifying channel for health for producers that are producing genuine products for the dry skin people. So that's the two contributions I would add.
Thank you.
I think
Chantal has the hand up.
Yes, I think Chantal does. We're running behind on time, so maybe if she asks that, we can make some comments just before we wrap up.
Okay. Hi, Chantal. Chantal, I've also shared my email in the chat, so you can reach out and I can provide further details later.
So I think she's dropped her hand. I really just want to say a very big thank you to Gideon, who has spoken very well. If you missed our training a couple of days back on the investor's perspective, the mindsets of investors and all, sorry, you would realize that if you missed that, you would realize that Gideon incidentally was mentioned as one of the few gentlemen in Africa offering investment opportunities. Albert did speak about that. Gideon is interested in investments of up to about $10,000 in businesses that meet the criteria, or in startups that are in line with his perspectives. I'm just going to tell everyone here, I think we have the videos are up on YouTube, and I'll be sharing the links. So if you missed any of those sessions, you would do yourself good to go take a look at it and also catch up with them. So it was really great having Gideon here in person, because not only do we get to tap in from his experience, but it's a way of you guys also meeting him directly. Who knows, he might just be the next investor in your own startup or in your business. If you have any questions, you could send them by mail to us. Gideon has also been gracious enough to put his email out there, so you can reach him at Gideon@HarperWeb, and he's ready to be able to maybe answer some more questions if you have questions as they arise. You can also send your questions and your inquiries to kavicnigeria@gmail.com. Sean, please do us the honors of dropping that, kavicnigeria@gmail.com, so that if you don't have that mail address yet, for most of us here, I think we do, because That's where we send the links for these events from. I think we've dealt with this extensively. I'm just going to mention before Gideon wraps up now that everything we're doing is really structured. Our next class that is coming up on Friday, about same time, 11 a.m. West African time, is now about customer acquisition. Gideon has taught us about how to design products that have empathy, products that address, that brings solutions and all. When you've done all this, how do you get the customers? Where do you get the customers? How do you keep them loyal? I mean, Gideon has also mentioned about going back to them over and over again, reiterating with them, fine-tuning getting feedback from them. Now, how do you retain them? How do you keep them? Where do you find them? Where do you go to get customers for yourselves when all is said and done? So we'll be addressing that on Friday. Dr. Larry Phillips will be doing that. But Gideon, please, your last words.
Yeah, so I'll say thank you so much, everybody. It's great to have had all of you on the call, especially you being very responsive participants. I love it because it was interactive for me and it made it easier for me. So let's continue to put the customer or the user at the center of anything that we are doing, and let us not stop even when we have a final product. There is no final product. We just have to continue to evolve them so that we will build resilient businesses. And let's connect, let's keep in touch, and then do something more meaningful.
Thank you so much, Gideon. Please, as is customary with us, we put out some assignments some time ago. I'm just going to say that if you've not sent in your pitch, kindly do so, a pitch about your business, because like we said, we're collating this and we're running it through our various mentors. Gideon is one of our mentors as well. And they are looking at your pitches and they are going to help you with it. So who knows, maybe in refining a pitch, you might find a very interesting one and that conversation would continue. I'm going to also ask you, please, if you haven't done this before, especially for those joining us for the first time, put your name, your gender, as well as your business in the chat box so that when we review, we can tell, we'll be able to reach you. I think Anthony, who spoke to us on this chat, he appears as TechnoC16. And I think Gideon had to ask him, okay, sorry, what's your name? So please, most people just put on your name, your gender, as well as your business or something about your business. Someone's asking, can we have the recorded version via email? Sorry, we'll be sending the links to you, but they are all on YouTube. So you need to go to YouTube to view most of them as it is. It's great to have you, Chantel. Organic Bella, she's tried a couple of times to be part of this. It was a bit of a challenge. I'm happy I hear the day Gideon is here. I think you missed Albert and a couple of others, but it's great. So please just send in, as we've said, and we'll take a look at it. Sean, any last words before we close this meeting? And Gideon, you ended up with an hour, about almost 20 minutes. So I think we did good. Philip didn't cut it off at 1 hour. Sean, let's hear you.
Yeah, thanks, Gideon, for that powerful session. I learned a lot and I was able to take some notes. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of today's session. I want to give you another personal invite to Wednesday's session, on Friday's session. I think it's going to be amazing. And you don't even want to miss the trainer that we have for you on Friday. He's one of my mentors in business, in life. I can even tell you that he's my personal coach. Right. And if you want to grow your business in terms of your sales and having like loyal customers that would actually become your sales agent, I think you want to listen to Dr. Larry Phillips. So same time, 11 to 12 on Friday, we'll be here and we'll be expecting you. All right. Do have a great day and let's grow businesses.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. I think it's goodbye from us at Kavik, and see you guys online pretty soon. Thank you.